In this video, I want to have a look at solving cubic equations. So before we look at solving them, we need to know what cubic equations are. So an equation is a cubic if the highest power of the variable is a 3. So for example, we've got x to the power of 3, or x cubed equals 12. Or we could have 2m cubed plus 1 equals 7. Or we could have something like this. We've got 10y cubed minus 4y squared plus 9 equals 0. Even though we've got a power of 2 there, so we've got y squared, the highest power is still our cubed. So all of these are cubics because of that power of 3. Now a cubic equation, if we've got x cubed equals c, where c is just a number, that's going to have one solution. And that solution is going to be found by finding the cubed root of c. Now to help us understand and solve these equations, it's handy to know a couple of your cube numbers. So for example, we know that 1 cubed means 1 times 1 times 1, so that's just 1. 2 cubed would be 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2 would be 8. 3 cubed would be 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 again is 27. 4 cubed would be 4 times 4, which is 16, times 4 again would give us 64. 5 cubed would be 5 times 5, which is 25, and then times 5 again, which would be 125. And those keep going on as well. So knowing at least a couple of them will be really handy and helpful for you solving these. So for example, if we had x cubed equals 8, then we need to find x, we would take the cubed root of 8. Now because 2 cubed is 8, that means that the cubed root of 8 is 2. So our answer to that equation would be x equals 2. Let's have a look at a couple of more examples. Our second example is m cubed equals 40, and we're asked to solve that for m. Now to find that, we're going to write m is equal to the cubed root of 40. Now just make sure when you're writing that little 3 is a little 3 up the top, so it's the cubed root, so it doesn't accidentally end up looking like a 3 times the square root. Now the cubed root of 40, now 40 isn't one of our cubed numbers, so that means that we're not going to get a nice whole number as our answer here. So in this case, we can use our calculator. So if we pop that in our calculator, if we round it to 1 decimal place, for example, we will get approximately 3.4. Now that makes sense because 40 is somewhere between 27 and 64. So that means that our m is going to be somewhere between 3 and 4. All right, our second example is going to be a little bit more involved. So we're going to have 2x cubed equals 54. Now before we can take the cubed root of this, we've got to do some of our other techniques for equation solving first. So the first thing we're going to want to do is to get rid of this 2 here. So we're going to divide both sides by 2, which will leave us with an x cubed equals 27. And now that we've just got our x cubed, now we can take the cubed root. Now 27 is one of our cube numbers, so the cubed root of 27 is going to be 3. All right, let's have a look at one more. So in this one, we're going to have 1 minus 3y cubed equals 1030. All right, for this one, we're trying to get the y cubed on its own first before we cube root anything. So the first thing we're going to get rid of is this 1 out the front. Now to get rid of that, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. So we'll be left with minus 3y cubed equals 1029. Then to get the y cubed on its own, we're going to divide both sides of that equation by that minus 3. So we'll end up with y cubed is equal to minus 343. And now we can take the cubed root. So we'll take the cubed root of minus 343, which will give us minus 7. So the cubed root of positive 343 would be 7 if we kept going with that list there. But because it was a minus, it's going to give us minus 7. And that's because minus 7 times minus 7 would give us positive 49. But then if we times by another negative 7, it's going to take us back down to minus 343. So that's having a look at solving some cubic equations.